I was browsing the web and I came across this hair transplant repair surgery done by Dr. Bisanga of a guy who had a relatively small hair transplant done just to cover his hairline. Unfortunately, he didn't really do much research when looking for a hair transplant clinic or a doctor, and he ended up with a pretty bad result. And it took him 3 repair surgeries just to get it fixed. This was his before pictures, and looking at this, it's really not that bad, to be honest, of hair loss. Just a little bit, receded in the hairline, pinned out a little bit, and even with the side view, it doesn't really look bad, don't you think? Crown seemed to be intact as well. Yeah, the whole top, look, just full density all around. So, it's just a really small hairline work. I literally got speechless. Like, just scrolling through this, you have this hairline, doesn't look really too bad, and then you see this. And it just like, my heart sunk. It is really bad. Let's analyze what went wrong and see how he ended up repairing this. Before we start, if you're new here, my name is Rolandas. I had 3 hair transplants. I was Norwood 5A, the whole top was pretty much bald, and I managed to basically have a second chance with my hair. If you want to learn more about me and my case, check out other videos on my channel. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out any future videos. Educate yourself. Okay, let's dive into it. So what went wrong? As it looks like he's in a Norwood 2, maybe 3. The angles are not the best to analyze all of this, but that being said, very minor recession in the hairline. It's literally just the hairline itself pushed back. And usually what's best to do if you are in a similar situation is, if you haven't done anything yet, you should absolutely start finasteride to stop further progression of hair loss. And it could potentially actually regrow quite a lot of hairs. And when you're looking at the results, the first thing that I see right away, which is pretty obvious, loads of multiple hair grafts implanted in the hairline. It looks like to the point that the whole hairline was exclusively reconstructed with the grafts that contains not just one hair, but the grafts containing 2, 3, 4, and even 5 maybe hairs per graft. So imagine from one hole, 5 hairs are growing. And if you're gonna implant loads of those next to each other, guess how you're gonna look? You're gonna look like a doll. So number 1, very thick grafts implanted in the hairline all around, so it creates this pluggy appearance. Number 2, the hair implantation angles are not correct. So the hairs are sticking up nearly 90 degrees up. This is not how hair grows in this area. Look at this picture as an example. It clearly shows the way the hair transplant has been implanted and the natural hair flow, hair growth angles. It's a clear disconnect. You can tell right away where the transplant is. Exactly the same happens here. In this area, the hair implantation angle should be very, very flat, like almost to the skin, about 10 to 50, maybe 20 degrees. Here, more like 90. That's just sticking up. Number 3 is the connection between the transplanted and non-transplanted area. So mainly what I'm talking about is this corner here, where the angle's quite abruptly changing. They're going from this direction, and all of a sudden, where the natural hair is, boom, all the way down flat to the skin. Not to mention, again, the same thing. Very fine single hair grafts, looks nice and soft and natural. And then you got this. Very difficult to style. It's generally speaking just impossible to live with because you cannot even usually grow your hair down. The hair has to be very long just to put it down. And number 4, of course, which probably most people already notice, is the design itself. It looks almost as like a feminine design, to be honest. The hairline design is like just kind of going down as opposed to going up. That's again not really how hairlines looking like in nature, at least not in men. They do look very similar in women. The donor-wise, the pictures are not the best quality, but it looks like some lighter patches here and there. If you can notice over here, over here, over here. So this might indicate that it's been over-harvested, but again, the quality of the picture is not that great, so I wouldn't throw this, accusations. Although from this angle looks even quite more. Yeah, it looks a bit patchy. Yes, 100% over-harvested. So these are the areas, the patchy areas that look like. Look here. Look how many hairs been taken out from this area. And overall, his hair is naturally thick. And he has loads of them. Look how many hairs is there in the donor area. And then they just take from here. Like, why? Look, I understand there is a safe zone that you have to take in a sweet spot. But you don't just hammer it like this and take thousands and thousands and thousands of grafts. He didn't even need this many. He needed a small, tiny surgery, maybe 1,500, depending, the area, maybe even less grafts. That's it. and they just hammered him, destroyed the whole donor. He needs to repair it now, and we're gonna see how it goes further. Even 3 months, it still looks pretty thin. And to repair all of this mess, he went to one of the best hair transplant doctors in the field, which is Dr. Bisanga in Brussels. Absolutely good choice, because Dr. Bisanga is just top of the game. What Dr. Bisanga done during this first repair surgery is he extracted some of the thickest grafts from all around, the hairline, and re-implanted them back into the donor area just to make the donor area look better. So obviously no grafts gonna be wasted. He doesn't need to implant anywhere else in the scalp, so that's a really smart choice to basically putting it back. And it took him about 4 hours just to get this done. As I mentioned, the design was not really appropriate, to a man. He extracted all of this line in the front to literally raise back, the hairline. On another side, exactly the same. Literally just raised it all the way. And it's not really that many grafts. How many grafts? You haven't specified, but I would assume he extracted, what, 300-400 grafts maybe, depending, how dense it was, maybe even less. The weak spots that I mentioned earlier that I wasn't sure, that's exactly the biggest, the patches that they were, and that's exactly where he implanted. And to be honest, looks actually really, already really good. Let's see how it grew. Fast forward 6 months, this is how the hairline looks. As I mentioned, the scarring is not really visible, to be honest, but he didn't manage to extract everything. And it looks like he's just shaving it, just to make it, look a little bit better. Of course, again, the angles, you can't really fix the angles, unfortunately. You will have to remove everything across the board, which, obviously they're not going to be doing it. So at this point, it's just damage control, essentially, how well they can repair it. And going into the second repair surgery, so that was done 6 months after the first one. So once again, he had to fly back, get a hotel, get the surgery booked and stuff like that. And look, wow, that looks really raw. Look how big the punch. So Dr. Bisanga is really good doctor. He knows how to utilize small punches to make, extraction look very small and, undetectable, essentially. And if he had to use somewhat of a bigger punch to extract it, it just tells you everything you want to know about the grafts that were there. It was like a triple quads, probably like thick ones that he had to use like a bigger punch. Absolutely terrible. I mean, the quality of this picture is so great. And he still has loads. Look, there is double, there is double, there is like a double, there is triple probably, that's double, that's triple. It's just so many of those exclusively multi-hair units all around. It's just not even one single graft. Ah, there you go. One single. Bravo. You made it. Yeah. 400 grafts extracted in the second repair surgery, and just to kind of make the shape of the hairline somewhat okay. He's nearly not even done with the repair, because now he needs to soften the hairline, because as you see here, just multi-hair units, it just looks again pluggy. It just looks a bit higher, but still pluggy. The donor looks so much better, so it seems like he implanted back into the donor area, and it's, look, already, again, it's still somewhat of a patchy, but it was like, here it was big patches, like clearly over harvested. Now it's somewhat, better overall, look of the donor, which is great to see. And just after 7 days of the surgery, look, the extractions, they're healing extremely well. It already looks pretty good, don't you think? Fast forward 7 weeks after the second repair, and already looks really nice. He's definitely shaving even further, or plucking, or whatever it is, probably the thicker grafts, just to make it look even more natural. But at least the shape is coming in together. But again, he's in between this stage where he's still repairing it, so he's probably gonna go for more singles all around the front and recreate a better, like a natural, more hairline, so he's gonna look much better. And the donor, look at the donor, it's still somewhat of a patchy, but like overall, it looks so much better, don't you think? Going into the third repair surgery, once again, they are still extracting more grafts. So as it turns out, Dr. Bisanga suggested for him to have another session, so the third session, to remove more pluggy grafts before going back in and implanting singles to make it look natural. The patient obviously, wanted to just be over with already, and he wasn't a big fan of it, to have another repair before he can go back. So it just takes such a long time already to get it fixed. But after all, he actually agreed with this approach, and Dr. Bisanga extracted further 200 to 250 grafts from the hairline and implanting them back into the donor. I must say, I'm actually quite shocked how the scars are healing. Like, his hairline was all the way here, and look, all of this now empty area, it looks pretty good. You cannot really tell that, you know, anything was done in there, to be honest. Just keep pushing further back. That's just a lot of grafts. A lot of grafts moved back. Ooh, look at the big patch. Just think about this. 3 repair surgeries just to extract the pluggy hairline to make the hairline look more, you know, natural, or actually go further and create some more space so there is somewhere to implant those singles to make it look natural. So he spent what, probably 1.5 years. Roughly, it takes about 6 months for the donor, you know, to heal, and in general the scalp to heal properly. So he spent 3 transplants, 6 months, so 1.5 years just to extract. Of course, the donor looks better, but I'm sure his final goal is to make the hairline, you know, look great, not just the donor. So, and he's gonna go for a 4th transplant just to finally get it done and fixed and just implant singles and call it a day. So over 2 years, God knows how much money he spent on traveling, you know, back and forth every 6 months. I cannot even imagine how much Dr. Bisanga is charging. But of course, again, finances aside, you know, just the amount of stress and time and effort is just, it's incredible. Like, really, I feel bad, you know, so bad to this guy. And that's why I absolutely hate this. They just don't care. They don't give a crap about patients. They don't give a crap what they do, and they absolutely... Okay, so he recently posted an update picture. So week 7 after his 3rd repair. Again, 3rd. I cannot stress it enough how many repairs. The first thing when I look at the hairline, it's freaking pluggy. And now I see even more that it's not just pluggy. It's been implanted in rows. Like, look at this. You can draw a line how the grafts were implanted. Multiple lines. It's way too obvious. That's not how the hair grows randomly. There's no clear pattern, visible pattern like it is here. But what I want to showcase that you can kind of see a little bit the scarring, but how far up pushed the hairline. And actually, Dr. Bisanga did a really great job. Look, there is not even a single... So he extracted basically everything. He removed everything and raised the whole corners of the hairline, both sides, so just so there's space to recreate this natural look. And as he says, as you can see, the scars are barely noticeable to the naked eye. However, the skin after 3 repair surgeries does look a little bit uneven at some areas, and there are a few areas with darker colors. So what I'm planning to do now is to see a laser specialist, hopefully within the first quarter of 2025. Then after a month or 2 after the laser treatment, I will be updating here again. Personally, I don't think he needs to rush into this, because this is the area where the singles will be implanted to recreate this natural, you know, look. So it can actually cover it really well. And you know what, I'm actually gonna go ahead and comment this. I'm actually recording a video analyzing your case. Absolutely incredible turnaround. Just wanted to let you know personally right now. Thank you. You need to rush into laser treatment. These areas will likely be covered with future single hair grafts and won't be visible. I suggest wait and see how it will look after you are done with all repair surgeries. Once again, absolutely incredible work on things. Follow. I don't know even what to say. This is just sad that the amount of time, energy, stress, and all of that the guy spent just to get it fixed. I'm happy that this guy actually took all the right steps now and he's getting fixed. He's off for a really good result. So I cannot stress it enough. Please do yourself a favor. Do some more research. You really want to try and avoid to be in this situation in the first place. And what's the best way to go about it is simply just do plenty of research all around the internet. You know, Facebook groups, Reddit, Hair Restoration Network, my YouTube channel. I've covered so many topics. I absolutely hate bullshit. I absolutely hate shit garbage clinics and doctors. I've got a really good eye on this because I've been researching, you know, hair transplants for years now. And I had 3 myself, pretty successful as well. And if you want to set up yourself for success, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out this video over here where I'm going into the details on how to do research, what to look for in a good or a bad hair transplant.